Alright, we're back for our second, basically, league here of the Manatraders series with Blue Black Death Shadow, voted on here by Twitch. So if you're catching this later on the YouTubes, it was between this and Turbo Muxus, which is a deck that I played a couple weeks ago, about a week ago or so. This is a blue-black Delver style strategy in Legacy. It also leverages Death Shadow, for those of you that are familiar with it in the modern format. So you have all the trappings of a Delver deck. You have Delver, you have Death Shadow. You have plenty of disruption in the form of things like Thoughtseize, Daze, Force of Negation, Force of Will. So plenty of soft counters. You also have one of Stubborn Denial, which is pretty good against with your Gurmag Anglers and your Death Shadows. And then you have removal spells in the form of Fatal Pushes and Snuff Outs, which is basically a better Dismember, in most cases anyway. And then you have all the trappings of a Delver deck. You have the 4 copies of Wasteland to kind of disrupt your opponent's mana. This deck is a little bit interesting in that in addition to playing copies of Underground Sea, also plays Watery Grave, which allows you to get your life total low for Death Shadow. And then 4 copies of Street Wraith as additional ways not only to draw cards, but also to lower your life total for your Death Shadow. And then you have 4 copies of Brainstorm and 4 copies of Ponder because you are a blue tempo deck in the format. Beyond that, you have Karakas for any type of legendary permanents, so things like Hogak, Dark Depths, etc. 2 copies of Surgical Extraction and a Grafdigger's Cage for any type of graveyard shenanigans. 2 copies of Eliminate when you need some removal spells for both Planeswalkers and other creatures. 2 copies of Hymn to Torok when you need more disruption against combo. 2 copies of Narset, pretty good against other opposing blue decks. Winter Orb, pretty good against the go over the top control decks, slows them down. Rajad Bomb, I'm presuming this is just when you're expecting tokens or a bunch of 1-drops. And then Plague Engineer, pretty good against the tribal decks, whether it be elves, humans, goblins, etc. So that is the sum total of my knowledge of the deck before we get in playing some matches with it. Once again, in the Manatraders August series here with Legacy. Started out 2-3 with Burn, which is kind of sad, but it's not exactly the top tier deck in the Legacy format at the moment, so we ran into some rough matchups, basically anything with the card Oko in it. We also ran into Hogak and Eldrazi, both of which can be kind of tough matchups, because if you think, great. We are waiting for Flying Whales. Sometimes I wish I could make these usernames up, but I am not that creative. So how is everybody doing tonight? Good luck. We're on the draw, unfortunately. I feel like chicken tonight. Like chicken tonight. So, no creature, no cantrips. I'm not an expert, but I'm thinking this is a mulligan. Alright, this hand at least has stuff. Keep, pitch one of the fetch lands. Obviously, Fatal Push could be kind of here, but Savannah. Green Sun Zenith for Dryad Arbor? So is this just like in Modern War Dog? I just kill this Dryad Arbor, no questions asked. So what am I like most of the cards in our hand. I'm guessing that I'm supposed to ponder here first. So that's shock 14. So actually I can just leave these. Well, I guess days doesn't matter particularly because we're going to have to fetch to play the Delver anyway. So days, Delver, Street Wraith. No. Draw the Delver. Am I supposed to deploy the Delver here, or am I supposed to deploy the... I guess we're supposed to deploy the Delver. Just stop during our upkeep, potentially. Well, I don't know if the rules of engagement change in Legacy or not. So are we up against... yeah, no. Do I brainstorm in response to the trigger? I guess so. I guess I want to draw the... put the Ponder and the... Force of Will on top. And then I can pitch Stubborn Denial to Force of Will. Then I can deploy both threats and have a really fast clock. So I guess I can only deploy the one threat anyway. Am I supposed to care about Knight here? Knight's a 4/4. It does invalidate my... Guess we're supposed to force this. Do I Thoughtseize here? Because obviously we can't hold up Force of Will. Or do I shuffle this hand? I don't even know what I could draw that would matter here that's better than Thoughtseize. Maze of Ith's annoying. We're drawing a useless Force of Will. So they're going to get to play Knight, which is annoying. They go to 2. We played Death Shadow. And kind of gets tricky from here. Card we're drawing next turn is kind of useless. One, two, three, four, five. They might have stabilized here, unfortunately. The question is, though, if I shuffle, what is actually better than Thoughtseize in that spot? Snuff out, maybe? Requires thresholds. They would somehow have to get 3 cards in the graveyard? 2 cards? Unfortunately, we know what we're drawing, and it's a very bad card. Okay. Blast Zone. Okay. Well... down to 1. So we probably want the eliminates. I'm going to go ahead and hazard a guess that this is a Winter War matchup. Problem becomes, I don't know what to cut. Like, what are they on? They're on some type of Maverick strategy, I'm guessing. With like Oko and stuff. 4-color loam, maybe. Yeah, looks like they're on a variant of 4-color loam. So, Dark Confidants, Scavenging Ooze, Knights, Leovolds, and Uro. Up against Flying Whales. Oh! Well then. Downside of playing in Legacy events is your deck becomes public knowledge. Still doesn't mean I know how to sideboard in this matchup. Some negation, maybe. Try it like this. Last one was a little rough. So I went away first. Yeah, it's okay. But, like, the problem is their deck is, like, kind of all over the place. Like, they have 14 creatures, the 4 planeswalkers, they have Chalice. The only things that Plagueman would kill are Strix and Confidant. Go ahead and brainstorm here. Back a land. And a land. I guess a land and a Death Shadow. No disruption, but not the worst either, I suppose. We get the Death Shadows down next turn. So we can get a 14 and then 12. Basic Forest. Cycle of Street Wraith. This is pretty good here, I think. Just depends on what they play here. Chalice. Gotta use that. And then Winter Orb you. Alright. Say we have lethal next turn. This deck is pretty vicious once it gets going. Back in the second Illuminate on the draw. Probably want the Force of Negation on the draw. What, maybe a Ponder. Seems okay. Like, we get to go turn 1 Delver, hold up Daze, and we have Wasteland, so I think it's fine. Especially we get to play around Chalice this way. I think I'm going to play Watery Grave this turn instead of that. That way, if we get to Brainstorm next turn, we can Brainstorm without locking ourselves. It's not as efficient as getting our Death Shadows into play here, but I still think we don't want to Brainstorm lock ourselves. Chalice again? Yeah, it feels like a Chalice. Brainstorm, yes. So is it better to Wasteland or better to develop our own mana? Feels like I Wasteland their green source here. What removal spells do they play? They play Abrupt Decays mainly. They have some Wastelands of their own. Let's get rid of that. Okay, they have a Wasteland of their own. Their Chalice. Yep. Hard to fight through that many Chalices, unfortunately. Alright, Force of Will is a little bit better here. Go ahead and shock this in. It's unlikely to matter as they're probably just going to Wasteland it, but they might also need the mana. Caracas. Yeah, this is going to have to, unfortunately, get forced. Forced pitching Brainstorm. Yep. Sure. Huh. So sad. So close, yet so far away. Sure. Fortunately, I'm presuming they left it land on top. Yep. Catacombs. Sure. Okay. Burrow. So you're saying there's a chance. Wow. Must be nice to... Must be nice that Dark Confidant is being a good little boy. Four. Kind of a close matchup. Okay. They fetched. In between that. So I understand if they hadn't fetched, they would know what card was on top. Strix. Yeah, Strix is a card. Zenith for 3. I feel like I returned Underground Sea here. Figured they would have gone for Uro there. Start with Ponder. Fatal Push should do it right. No, it's fine. I understand people aren't necessarily watching like everything that's going on. That was an insane game. That was definitely an insane game. So it's Flying Whales. Join the match. Looking for an open match. Salvit. I'm gonna get up and nope. Never mind. Not time to get up and stretch. They're on the play, which kind of sucks. I think between Force of Will and Disruption we keep this hand, plus we have threats. Albeit not the easiest threats in the world to turn on, but threats nonetheless. 2, 4, 3, 5, 7. So we're 1 point short of turning on. Death Shadow here. Bloodstainmire. Badlands. Feel like we're supposed to Force of Will this. So it is dangerous thought seizing the Reanimator deck, but I still think we're supposed to do it here. Faithless Looting, Dark Ritual, Animate Dead. Take the looting. Okay. Flashback of Faithless Looting, sure. Unmask and Exhume. Play our 1/1 Death Shadow and pass the turn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A Fatal Push or something here? Another Death Shadow, double our clock. Alright, thanks Abyssius. just hold on to Delver here. Doesn't particularly change our clock and allows us to have Force of Negation up. Alright. Definitely want the surgical extractions and the cage. Probably want Caracas. Rest of the cards just don't make a ton of sense. Fatal pushes are kind of bad in this matchup. Snuff out kills some of their threats, but not all of them. We're just better off getting rid of snuff outs. Submit like this. I think we keep this hand. No threats, but we have Force of Will backed up by Cage and a Ponder, so... I think I let the looting resolve. Out Cage here. We still have Force of Will if necessary. Guess they could have Abrupt Decay, that'd be kind of unfortunate. Children of Corliss. Yeah, don't particularly care about that one. Somebody needs to shut off their car alarm. Delver. Cast by Ponder. Thoughtseize, Brazen Borrower. No. Let's go ahead and draw the fetch land. Play the Delver? Question mark. Actually, that was really dumb, huh? So we're drawing a Thoughtseize next turn. And Brazen Borrower the following turn. Do I want to take Force of Will down for a turn just to get more pressure in play? I don't think so. I think it's fine. Okay. Flipping Delver, drawing Thoughtseize. Start by casting Thoughtseize. Determine if we want Brazen Borrower or not. Dark Ritual. Creatures in the graveyards can't enter the battlefield. The Dark Ritual seems like the most threatening card. Allows them to potentially cast things. Zoom 1, 2, 3, 4. Got the fetch land here. Could be right Caracas or Wasteland. That's the part I'm not sure of in this particular setting. Let's hand is Exhume, 1 fatty and 1 unknown. I'm going to draw the Brazen Borrower just to guarantee to have a blue card for Force of Will here. Play Caracas, that way we can Brazen Borrower if we have to. Lake of the Dead. Okay. Hardcast Crystalbrand. Ashen Rider. Alright. Nice. Be back in a sec with another matchup here. Had a stretchy old back here. So we're playing against Frank Bonaparte. Luck here. Select my first. I think we keep this hand. Mulliganing to 6. Going to 5. Off on Delver here. We have days to potentially stop a devastating play on our opponent's part. Tomb. I feel like this is going to be a chalice. That constitutes a devastating play. Simian Spirit God. Okay. Oop. So we're going to start casting our spells into this chalice just to get Gurmag Angler on the play. Because I have a feeling we're going to need more than one threat to close out this game. On a red prison. I feel like I'm about to get Chalice or Blood Moon. Okay, Braid, sure. Force of Will or Force of Negation probably be our best draw next turn. Depending on what they do here. Okay, they can cast most of the stuff in their deck. I don't know if we're beating Ensnaring Bridge. Too many must counter threats from our opponent. Looks like we've got him to Torox, and that's about it. Yep, that's a thing. Glad they can't cast that one. Yeah, Winter Orb can be good in a prolonged game, Foz. Hey, how you doing, Lurker? But, how are you doing tonight, Foz? I think that's gonna be good enough. Oh, we're doing alright. Started out 2-3 with Burn, but we've managed to actually started out 0-3 with Burn, managed to come back to 2-3, and then we won our first two matches here with Death Shadow so far. So we're not dead yet, but we are definitely, if they tick down on this Gurmag Angler, the game's over. But we do have outs. Brazen Borrower is our only out in the main deck to what's currently going on. We have to draw it this turn. And hope our opponent gets sloppy? Okay, nope, they're just going to... Trinisphere, sure. Hey, Smell Lord, thanks for the follow. Greatly appreciate that. Alright, so... Probably want the hymns. Foss suggests Winter Orb. We probably want Ratchet Bomb. Winter Orb could be fine in some spots. Snuff Out's probably pretty bad. Fatal Push. Are they running Rabble Masters? Thanks, Small Lord. I appreciate that. Are they running Rabble Masters these days? They are indeed running Rabble Masters. So I guess I don't want to take out the Snuff Outs. Maybe the Fatal Pushes I take out. Question becomes, though, what then do I take out? Maybe the Gurmag Anglers, because they could bring in Leyline potentially. Like, leave one Gurmag Angler. Thoughtseizes seem fine. Dazes seem fine. One Snuff Out, I guess. Try it like this. So, Smell Lord, what content do you mainly watch on the YouTube channel, out of curiosity? I don't think we can keep this hand. If we had a blue card to go with a force, it's not worth it. Alright, this hand's much more interesting to me. Keep... What are we putting back? One of the Death Shadows? Feels like we ponder on one. Well, whatever you watch, I greatly appreciate the support. Love the prowess of Mono Red Vids. Okay. Just always try to get a gauge for what people are there for, you know? Probably gonna lead on. Oh, it's definitely an awesome deck. Reminds me, I gotta answer somebody's question about. So, Street Wraith. I think we keep this, right? We definitely want the Lace Land. We definitely want the Delver. Someone say Prowess. Just try us curious which order we want them in. I guess we get to draw all three. So I'm going to go that, Delver, draw the Street Wraith. And we can decide if we want to pitch the Brazen Borrower or the Delver to the Force of Will. And we're going to wasteland that most likely. Yeah, Mox is kind of whatever here. Don't think I'm supposed to force that. Pitching a Braid. Chalice is just such an obnoxious card. So we're wastelanding them next turn. We'll be at 14. Pitching the Brazen Borrower feels so bad, but I think I have to have the Delver here. So we did the thing. Let's hope it's good enough. Ponder would be great. Force of Will isn't terrible, I suppose. Great if we had a blue card to pair with it, though. Instead, I just get another Death Shadow that I can't cast. Well, there's a Chrome Box. They in print. Blood Sun. Why would they play Blood Sun? Obviously, that's tempting to keep that. Oh, man. So... yeah, Thoughtseize would be good, but I do think we keep this thing. Do I take the one-turn gamble that they... Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play Daze on bottom, Delver, hold the Brazen Borrower. That way I have Force plus blue card. And then next turn I can play Delver and have Daze to flip it the following turn. Not the greatest as far as clock, but I think it's a necessary evil. Pitched a Braid and Blood Sun so far. Like, obviously it'd be nicer to hit a fast clock, but if they hit like an Ensnaring Bridge or something here, we're in a world of trouble. So I don't think it's worth taking the shields down for a turn. Yeah, sure, whatever. These Chrome Moxes are a really slow mana source. You pitch Chrome Mox, pitching Blood Moon. Yeah, I kind of have to do this, unfortunately. So we have lethal next turn if they don't have a boom boom here. Blood Sun's kind of irrelevant. I guess technically it shuts off our ability to pay life for the Watery Graves. and does shut off our fetch lands, so I guess that's the game plan behind it. Just given the collection of spells that we've seen out of them, though, it seems that they're more on the actual spells thing, so we might actually be able to get away with boarding Snuff out. Opponent's Caving 7, that's downright scary. We don't have a threat, but we have a Wasteland, we have a Force of Will, we have a Ponder. I think we keep this hand. Okay. Sure. Again, setting up our Death Shadow. A little bit more information before we Thoughtseize here. Chandra's Inferno. Bunch of mana. These dazes aren't going to be particularly good. Why wouldn't you play your land to play around daze? So I think we want the threat. The rest of the hand, like Brainstorm's fine. I think we go... Yeah. Go Thoughtseize. I guess we draw Thoughtseize. So we go Brainstorm, Delver, Thoughtseize, and then draw the Thoughtseize, choose not to shuffle. Wasteland isn't going to be doing a whole lot, unfortunately. I guess I still Wasteland them, right? Like, we play the Delver, Wasteland the Ancient Tomb, and then if they want to casting, it's going to be the double Lotus Petal they're going to have to use. And then we're drawing Brainstorm, so hopefully that will improve our situation. We have to daze this, don't we? this out. Not going to brainstorm here. Going to wait until we have more information. I guess I could have Thoughtseize there potentially. Chalice on 1. Well, that could have gone better. Resolves. Not gonna pretend we have anything else when we don't. Probably just blow this now, huh? Chuck them on some mana. Okay. Have days to hopefully stop whatever shenanigans they have. And Ancient Tomb to kill yourself. Cool. I'll be back in 1 second. Gotta go take care of something. I'm gonna play a short ad roll in the meantime. And there's the deck list. Back just in time. So if we somehow win the next 2 matches, we would be qualified for the Swiss, which will be on the 29th. So how is everyone doing tonight? Well, thank everybody for hanging out tonight, even though we're not in our normal time slot, and we're not playing our normal format. But normally I'm streaming around midnight. Alright, War Dog, get some sleep, man. Normally I'm streaming around midnight, and I'm usually working on modern red decks. Alright, so create, waiting for Ninja Nugget. Okay, that's a new one. Ninja Nugget. Sure, opponent good luck. So I'd like to play first. Well, I guess this is a hand we keep. Has a threat, but not the best of threats. Do this, play on shocking in. Depending on what our opponent's playing here, might disguise the fact that we are a preordain. So likely some type of combo deck. Just let that resolve, I guess. Guessing Storm by this opening. Could be Storm, could be... Thoughtseize is a pretty good one here. A little bit more information. Okay, Wasteland's not terrible either. Thoughtseize. What you got over there? Force of Will, pitching Force of Will. Does look like they are a... Wow. So they cast a Preordain. 2 cards on bottom. That's a tough one. A Veil of Summer is quite scary, but I think we take... Is it Brainstorm or Show and Tell? I feel like it's between Brainstorm and Show and Tell here. Guess we take the Show and Tell. Rest of our hand's pretty bad against a combo deck, unfortunately. So it looks like they might be just Show and Tell Omniscience. It's hard to tell if they're... I guess I should look it up, huh? Show and Tell. Okay, so no, it looks like they are... Omnitell rather than Show and Tell, which makes our job a lot harder with these Veil of Summer's main deck. Sure, get to draw a card, that's fine. Don't know that I would have been so quick to cash in my Veil of Summer, but, you know, whatever, I suppose. So they're playing around days. They've already pitched 2 forces. They have an Omniscience. So their hand is Omniscience, Emrakul, 2 unknowns. Pitch, which preordains their hands Omniscience Emrakul. Yep. Action from colored spells. That's a little rough. Definitely want Caracas. Definitely want the hymns. Gotta leave in some amount of removal spells because Ice Fang Codal is in some of these builds. So I guess we leave Snuff out in that case. The Fatal Pushes can go. And then... take out a Wasteland maybe, since they're not particularly vulnerable to Wasteland. Like, they have some things that are Wastelandable, but they can play around it pretty well. Like, they have some amount of soul lands, but not many. Hand seems pretty good. Thoughtseize and the Thoughtseize. Got 3 lands. Show and Tell, Eureka, and Gristledad. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I'll probably adjust that for game 3. Interesting. Live in the Death Shadow Loca. You can kill on 4. Live in the Death Shadow Loca. And that, as they say, is that. Yeah, I guess they are such a deck dependent on show and tell specifically. We don't want to go down all of our creature answers, so what do we board out here? Like, just board out another wasteland? This hand's pretty soft to a lot of things. Still think we keep it with Delver and Daze, but it's not the best. Looks like they're leading on Veil of Summer here, or at least threatening Veil of Summer. So cast Delver. Yeah, we kind of need lands, but Wasteland doesn't really help cast most of our spells. Right? So, like, most of our spells are... Shadow... Street Wraith, Snuff Out. What order did I put those in? No. Of course I put them back in the wrong order. I was too busy focusing on which cards to get rid of that I didn't... I don't think we're beating Veil of Summer here. Our opponent knows they need to be a Force of Will, which is kind of whatever. Sweet Brainstorm. Alright, there's a bunch of fetch lands. Fortunately, I think we want both the days and the force in our hands, so we can't set up this Delver. But I think I'm okay with that. Okay. Ponder, sure. Force of will, yeah. If our opponent can be double force, we're in trouble. Do you have it? Okay. So bloody close, yet so far away. Telegraphed it the whole time and actually had it. Oh well. What can you do, right? What can you do? Alright. Omni show. Okie dokie. So let's take a look at the wrap up here. So deck's pretty solid. It's a lot of fun to play. Has a lot of decision points. I like what it's doing a lot. I don't know. I've never actually. This is the first Delver-esque strategy I've ever played in Legacy. So the fact that we did 3-1 and we're so close to a 4-0 felt pretty good. The deck's obviously very powerful. Don't really have a whole lot to add. This is definitely a deck we're going to be running back over the next day or two trying to qualify. But yeah, a deck that is definitely a blast to play and very well built. So I think that's just going too far. Like, Veil is a card that, you know, you're going to struggle with sometimes. You know, it's a card that's an abomination of Magic, and it is what it is. So, anywho, I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. I'm going to call it an evening. I'm not going to be doing another stream later on. I might work on some other content. We'll see. But I'm going to send you guys on over to Ghost. Make sure you say hi to him. He does a lot of modern content. Usually he's working on Pawns Are a Mill. So if you like that kind of content, make sure you guys give him a follow over there. And Ghost is a pretty cool dude. So, have a good night, Ando.